Hey guys, it's Sydney Walker with Coffee and Politics Online. Sorry, haven't done one of these in a while. I kind of want to wrap up some things from City Council on Wednesday because it seems like there's some wildfire kind of going on here. So it was a rough day Wednesday. I ended up missing the last portion of the meeting with all of the amendments for the upcoming November 3rd election for the bond. So let me tell you what is on that bond. Okay, so it is just for public safety. It's $22 million for fire station number 4. If you don't know where fire station number 4 is, it is at Ackert in Canton, behind City Hall, near the convention center. Okay. This particular fire station has been on the list for replacement, but with the last bond elections, it was not one of the fire stations that was deemed necessary to put on a bond to be replaced. Remember that factoid, okay? And that is also from Chief Ball. During the discussion during City Council on Wednesday, that fire station number 4 has never been on the bond proposal. It's been on the list of needing to be replaced, but was not put on the list on the last city bond to be replaced. Okay. New police academy at UNT. Voters approved $50 million back in 2024 for the new police academy. Because remember, Prop U says that we have to get up to 4,000 officers. There is not a date on when we have to achieve that, but everyone knows that the current police academy. So what does that mean? It means that there's only so many cadets that can come through the academy and be trained properly over the course of a year that make it through the police academy. So our hiring numbers are kind of just matching our retirement numbers. We do have a slight increase, but overall it's not getting us to that 4,000 number fast enough, as people perceive that we need to hurry up, wave this magic wand, bing, and have 4,000 officers all making more than $90,000 a year to compete with those police departments in Collin and Denton counties that seemingly are taking our officers. Okay, so the November bond, there will be $82 million being asked for this new police academy on top of the $50 million voters in 2024. Okay. There is $150 million for a new evidence room, for storage facility and crime lab. Okay. $40 million for relocation of 911 and 311, and then $149 million for a new training complex at the executive airport, which is completely separate from the police academy at UNT. So from my understanding, I am going to tag the police associations, fire associations, so you all correct me if I am, pardon the noise, not, if I'm speaking out of order here, but the training complex at the executive airport, I believe, is where the new gun range is supposed to take place. Because as Chief Como said, when he went to get certified again, he was completely taken back by how poor the gun range is. So We do have some problems here when it comes to our police and the resources that they need in order to hit our target with having the 4,000 officers, and making sure that as a world-class city, and having, as Chief Kamal has said, and also Chief Arredondo of Carrollton, who used to work for Dallas Police, we have a great police department here that officers are able to obtain experiences that they would not be able to obtain working for other police departments. Those northern police departments cannot provide the same working experience that Dallas Police Dallas Police Department offers our officers, meaning you can do there are dive officers that go, in lakes and rivers and whatnot, looking for, dead bodies and do investigations that way, to helicopters, gang units, you name it. So we have departments, teams that other police departments do not have. So remember that, okay? All right. So a lot of controversy again. So all of those measures, fire station number 4, new academy, the evidence room storage facility, crime lab, relocation of 911 311, and the training complex all come to a total of $443 million. Initially, there was discussion of the POB bonds. That was a bond in order to pay into the police and fire pension to get us caught up. Council decided not to put that on the ballot because at this time interest rates are cost prohibitive. So for $500 million, we would have been paying over $400 million in interest on that contribution into the bond, into the pension. And the bonds would not have been sold immediately. They just would have been kind of put on the shelf and waiting for interest rates to be more favorable, which could take years to happen. So not weeks, not months, but years. So they voted against that. All right. So 4 city council members presented various amendments to the November 3rd bond package. Mainly, it was to separate each item out, so voters could have a choice in selecting which items they wanted funded. Okay, since fire station number 4 has never been put in a bond package to be replaced, the question was asked, why the urgency now? Legitimate question. Well, it just needs to be replaced. Well, why wasn't it put in a previous bond package? So some council members, and I will tell you specifically who. District 7, which is what I am in, Adam Bazadula. District 9, Paula Blackman. District 14, Paul Ridley. And then we have Councilwoman Cara Mendelson. And she spoke very favorable for having the voters to select and choose which items they felt needed to get our funding and for us to go into debt for. So remember, all of these bonds are future debt that will be placed on property owners' tax statement from John Ames come October of each year. So understand that we just had a bond election in 2024 for streets, infrastructure, and city parks to the tune of $1.25 billion. Now we're going to have a bond election for November 2027, and you don't get to select out which items that you can vote on. It's all or nothing. it says, oh, there we are. Okay, it says it's still recording. All right. So now you're not going to be able to pick and choose which items that you want to vote on as a voter. So, point of contention. 911-311, $40 million for relocation. We do not know where the proposal is to relocate 911-311. There was speculation that it was going to be Redbird Mall, where 911-311 is going to be moved. Potentially, it could be the Comerica building, since 5th and 3rd bought out Comerica, and they have decided to move out of the old Bank One tower. They are there is a safe there that potentially could house 911 and 311 operations. Total speculation. Don't take me to the bank on this, but it makes sense because the infrastructure as far as safety is already there. But $40 million, as you can tell, initially that in 2024 voters approved $50 million for the police academy. Now we're being asked to fund another $82 million for it, and private funds did not raise enough money to close the gap with the other considerations that weren't taken into account in 2024. We're putting the police academy at the UNT campus, and this is the southern campus, not Denton, but the UNT campus that's off, I believe that's Hampton or Kenwism. I can't remember exactly where it is. So it is not that those 4 council members are anti-public safety. They are not. They are, I will say for sure, is not anti-public safety. She would prefer that the voters, and all the 4, prefer that the voters actually be able to vote individually for each item instead of having just one package. Seeing that, Save Dallas City Hall, the city of Dallas, over the neglect of maintaining City Hall. It has to go through that legal process. There has been voting done, because Monday there was a finance committee, week before last, sorry, about changing the voting majority needed to sell city assets. So instead of a supermajority, it's been lowered to a majority, which is interesting that there aren't rules in place that you have to get a supermajority to change a supermajority ruling. So there you have it. My list, this is something that I do want y'all to take into consideration with looking at going into more debt as a city and as a property owner, small medium business. If you're getting a tax abatement for up to 75 years, I'm not speaking to you, but I am going to speak to everyone who lives in the city of Dallas that gets a statement from John Ames every October. D just passed their bond last year. That was $6 billion, $7 billion. Don't quote me. I would have to go back. I'm just running off of memory here. Okay. The city of Dallas has debt. Texas scorecard as of April of 2024 estimated that our debt in 2023 was between 6.7 and 6.9 billion dollars. During city council, I know Councilwoman Mendelson did ask Chief Financial Officer Jack Ireland what was the amount of debt that we had, and I believe he said something around $3 billion, and she dug deeper into that, and it's actually more like $5.6 billion. Okay? So remember that. Okay, close to $6 billion, give or take a few million. Add the police and fire pension debt of $3.5 billion. Add the civilian retirement pension of $1 billion added into that. Add into that as well the $3.7 billion that voters approved in November of 24 for the hot tax to be increased, where the K. Bailey Hutchins Convention Center redo, which Fair Park would get up to $325 million of that, up to, we've only gotten $50 million, but up to $325. And that includes other projects. So Memorial Stadium is also included in that for the Dallas Wings. Do not forget that we have debt for their practice facility. I am saying all of this to say this debt that the city is accumulating, it's over. If it's not over $8 billion, it is real close to being $1 billion. So I did report to you all when I was going over my 30 pieces of silver that we were up to $7.7 billion. Add in there the $443 million for the bond proposal, that takes us to 8.1. Police and fire, we love you guys. We depend on you guys. There is so much going on with the city right now, and I have raised the question of if we are having to furlough staff, and now potentially up to 300 civilian employees will be getting permanently terminated, laid off, fired, however you want to call it, from the city staff. I spoke to MPO officer that was at the Park South YMCA X-Line for a public safety meeting that we had about the Malcolm X corridor, and she told me, because Brian Joseph was still on vacation, that 9 jobs have been saved because police have been going into their overtime budget to help save those jobs. Okay, public safety receives 63% of the city budget. Okay, somewhere we're going to have to start cutting costs and look at where the spending is going and see if we can cut things that we don't need. I would call for an IT audit to look at software licensing, duplicate software, and see if there's some savings that can be obtained there. City of Austin did theirs, and they came up with a savings of $200 million. $200 million. No one is looking at the spending that is happening with consultants to see if there's some belt tightening that can be done there. Because here's the thing, I don't want my city employees to lose their jobs. And it's enough that the insurance is... People will work for a lower paying job if they have great benefits. I have done that. I've gone to work for a company because the benefits were good. Salary wasn't so much, but the benefits were good. That's what kept me there. Because, you know, I have kids and all of those things. But we are at a place where we owe a lot of money. And it doesn't make sense to go into more debt at a time where families are having to make decisions with their budget. And unfortunately, salary wise, a lot of our city employees, including police and fire, do not live in the city of Dallas because it's so expensive. What's wrong with that picture? And we want you to get the salaries that you want and deserve. We want to honor, prop you. We do not want a lawsuit. And that's another thing. We need to see if there are preventative measures that the city could be doing to prevent lawsuits where we're not paying out or having to spend money from being sued, or suing someone or fighting, travel records not being disclosed. We have an amazing opportunity. We have a really good team with DPD and fire. We need you guys' help right now with saving the city. And I hate to say it that way, but we need your help. We need you guys to push for better management of our city dollars. I would love it if you guys would come to council meetings when developers come in. And I know developers are going to be mad when I say this. Not giving out 75 years tax abatements. We're subsidizing full market rentals in addition to affordable or workforce housing. Okay. That's property taxes that could be getting paid into the city budget. You guys salaries. You guys training academy. You guys property in the evidence room in the crime lab. That could be going into having a better 911, 311 operations. That money could be going into Fair Park. That money could be going to a lot of places. Instead of asking our property owners, and it's the homeowners, small and medium-sized businesses, that commercial properties that are footing the bill here. And I don't want to stress our families who are already struggling with gas prices, food costs, all of those things, just like you guys are, in order to go into more debt that potentially, as a city, we're not going to be able to fund and pay for because the convention center has been demolished. We still have pieces of it, but how much revenue are we going to bring in from sales tax and now renting out to big conventions that we otherwise would have been receiving had the convention center not been demolished? I don't know if the plan was thinking about, the current economic times that we're in, and was it right to really start that project? Because remember, we took out a $1 billion short-term loan from JP Morgan Chase to kickstart that project. So there is a lot of debt accumulating here in the city of Dallas. And police and fire, we want to support you guys. City Council was trying to do the right thing with making sure those measures get on the bond election. As many times it was brought up that when we have bond elections and items being brought to council to put on the bond election, that effort would have gotten started this past spring, not literally in August and September, October, boom, election time. So literally 2 months, 10 weeks. We're looking at asking the the residents of Dallas to go into more debt. So we need you guys' help. We need more pressure being put on council to call for an audit, especially IT. There are things that some cost savings that we can find there with getting rid of duplicate software. And as an IT head, program project manager, hey, my role in IT always straddle the line between IT and the business. You guys are the business, and I would fuss at my IT engineers and server guys to stop acting like they knew what the business wanted. And every company I work for, I brought the business to the table so you could articulate your needs, and IT can hear it. They can put together the best package to meet those needs, and everybody signs off on it. And I don't think that's happening with the city of Dallas. So anybody can correct me if that is happening. I don't think it's happening. I don't think the city of Dallas practices agile. I don't even know if they do waterfall. So police and fire, we need you guys. We need you all to help the residents and the commoners that are paying the taxes not continue to see us getting priced out of our homes and our properties because of property taxes and mismanagement of spending money. Because with $5.2 billion in the budget and a $50 million shortfall, next year the shortfall will be worse. Because remember, the convention center is being demolished to be built larger, and that expectation of that completion is 2031 as well, along with the Mavericks and the Stars leaving the AAC, which that's $1.7 billion of revenue that is going to leave. We have a spending issue. We have some good revenue coming in. The police and fire, we need you guys' help with this. Nobody wants to vote no on the propositions for you guys, but the debt that we are coming under is getting to a dangerous level where we could easily fall into bankruptcy, and it took Detroit decades to come out of that. And when a city files for bankruptcy, they only get essential services. No raises, nothing pretty. Essential services only, until the debt can get caught up with selling city assets to cover that. So help us not get into that position. The councilman that voted against the bond, they voted against it because everything is all packaged up and the voters are not getting to choose what they're willing to fund and go into debt for. So please help us, okay? For everybody else, anyone who knows police and fire, reach out to your guys, explain to them what's going on, share this video with them. Anybody can hit me up if they have questions about what happened on Wednesday. It's not that anybody is anti-police and fire. Nobody is against it. Everybody is looking at the debt. Because remember, the Divine Nine gets their way. We're getting out of City Hall and we're going to go into more debt to move everybody. So think about that as well. Help us out, guys. And everyone in the city of Dallas, pay attention to your local government, and election time, send a message. Okay? Send a message, because if not, we could lose our world-class city instead of making it better. All right? I will check in with you guys on next week after next Wednesday council meeting. Okay?